Okay, this is what our sweet potato bed looks like on May the 20th. See? Sweet potato, sweet potato, sweet potato. Over there's plenty. Over there's a few. There's some just coming up. So, we'll have plenty of sweet potatoes to put in the beds. There's some. See, they're in this grass. It'll be okay. Got the grass pulled back for the most part where the sweet potatoes can get to the sun. As long as they can get to the sun, they'll do just fine. Welcome back to College Hill Farm. Well, here we are. It's time to put our indeterminate tomatoes in the garden. It's just breaking daylight. I like to do this before the sun comes up. This part right here, these are all determinate tomatoes. The indeterminates are on the other side of the bed, and I'm going to show you what we do. But now, the total cost of this bed, and I'm not going to include the cost of the bed because I could have done these just as easily on the ground, except for tending them. But you could do this right on the ground, all right? The total cost of this bed was the compost and manure that I put in here. I put in $9 worth of compost and $9 worth of compost and manure in this bed on the very top. The rest of this bed is just filled with garden dirt. And the only purpose for the compost and manure was to keep the weeds down. Okay? So now I'm going to harvest. I have hundreds of plants in here, probably 200 or 300. So I've got 200 or 300 plants. So it cost me about 2 cents a plant. Okay, and I'm going to put these in the garden. And I'm going to have plenty left over to give to my neighbors. All right? So let's get over here and let's get these out of the bed. Now, these tomatoes right here are ox hearts. So all I'm going to do, I'll come right here to the side. I'm going to stick my trowel down in there and pull those up, roots and all. Okay? That's what I'm going to take down into the garden. I just take a bucket and put them in the bucket. That's the first set. And see how many's left? I'll put some dirt back over them for the next person. Now, right beside the ox hearts, and I'll stand these up in here so that they're kind of segregated. Right beside these are mortgage lifters. So I'll do the same thing. Put my trowel in, lift up, and here they are. Okay? Put those in. Then I've got Kellogg breakfast next. Oh. Go around and get to them. Right in here, I've got Kellogg's breakfast. Now, when it comes to these, I'm caught in this stupid thing. Okay. When it comes to these, they're going to come in all sizes. Little bitty ones and great big ones. Okay? You pick which one you want to plant. The little bitty ones are easier to plant. The big ones, you got to bury them deeper. So there's the Kellogg's breakfast. And now, the bulk plants that I do are Cherokee purples. That's these over here. I do a lot more Cherokee purples than I do anything else. we go. There's my Cherokee purples. Put any I dislodged back in. Now I'll just leave the trowel right there, and I can come back and get them whenever I'm ready. So let's get these down in the garden and I'll show you how to plant them. Okay, the way I plant my tomatoes is based on an ancient technology. Man has been using this technology for millions of years. It's called a stick. Take the limbs off of it. Take that. Break it off so it's kind of flat. There's my $200 tomato planter. Harvested right here by the garden. Now I like to use these box elders. They're flexible and they grow back easy. And you just want it where you can reach the ground without having to do a lot of bending. Okay? I'll have to bend a little bit with this. I cut it a little bit short. But it'll be okay. Let me show you how to put them in the ground. Okay, I'm going to start off with the Cherokee purples. I put them on one part of the thing and on the other. You just start off by taking them out. There's its little root system. Okay, it's very long, it's spindly. It's not like the ones you buy at the store. But let me show you what to do. Here's our dirt. This is where I'm going to plant the first one. So I drop it, take my stick, put it on the root, and push him right down into the ground. Then I come up and I bring dirt up until he stands up. And then I step it in. Okay, let's do another one. About 18 inches away. Okay, about 18 inches. I peel his roots out. I drop him there. Now if you want to, you can make a hole to begin with. That makes it easier for you. Push him down in there. Then I'm going to start covering him. The more stem you cover, the more tomato you get. Stand up there, boy. Okay? Now it'll start off looking bad, but it will eventually stand right up. That's why a lot of people prefer to plant these smaller ones, because when you knock your hole in the dirt, you can make them stand up better. But I promise you, in a day or two, these will all be standing up. So I've got to get down through here and get a bunch of these planted. That's 3 Cherokee purples so far. Now there's another way that you can do it. And some people do it this way. Let me show you. again, about 18 inches apart. And you just take the plant, you pull, and let its little roots come apart. You lay the plant down, and then you just start covering it. And you cover it all the way up the stem. Then you come back this way and make it stand up. Some people do it that way. That's the way my grandfather done it. And it works pretty good. A little rough on your back. But I've got to get on down through here and get all these planted. I'll be planting ox hearts, Cherokee purples, and mortgage lifters and Kellogg breakfast. Okay, out of those Cherokee purples, I planted 14. I've got 5 or 6 left here. What am I going to do with them? That's what I'm going to do with them. Okay? I'm not going to try and save them. I'm not going to plant them back. There are hundreds in the bed. Hundreds. They're less than a penny a piece. Hundreds. So, yeah. Now, somebody will say, well, those will die. To tell you the truth, probably about 25% of these will die. What will I do? I'll go back to the bed and get more. Okay? It's not rocket science. I'll go back to the bed and get more. Now, just so you know, nothing on my farm happens in a vacuum. Right up there's my hayfield, and it's got to get cut. And I need to get this done so I can get the hayfield cut today. Okay. Okay, that is 2 100-foot rows of indeterminate tomatoes. Now, I want to show you something. Here's a tomato plant, typical of what I plant. I don't worry about tearing these leaves off, but I bury it up to about there. So what we've got is you've got a tomato plant that's just the top leaves all the way down, and everywhere there's this touches the dirt, a root will form. Okay, so this is going to make roots all the way down this shaft. Okay, now some of them were too big to do that way. This is the perfect size. If you look at it, it's about 12 inches. This is the perfect size for you to put 8 inches in the ground and leave 4 inches sticking out. The perfect size tomato. I let them get a little bit big, but I've been sick for a while, so that's the way it is. Now, what am I going to do with the leftovers? Alright, and some people say, well, gosh, that's wasteful. How much did they cost me? They were basically free. Okay, they could have been free if I'd been willing to pull weeds. I only put down the compost to keep from having to pull weeds out of them. Okay, they would have been free because I saved my own seed from year to year. This year, I don't have to have Cherokee purple seeds. They were only, I think, 3 years old, so I'll save Cherokee purple seeds next year. Mortgage lifters, I think their seed was 5 years old, so I'll definitely save seeds from them. I didn't save me any Kellogg breakfast last year, so I'll probably have to save some seeds from them this year, and the ox hearts. I know the ox hearts because those seeds, the ox heart seeds were 6 years old, so I had let them go way too long between seeding. So they were 6 years old, so I definitely have to save ox heart seeds this year. But what I did was I planted about half a row of each variety. I planted a half a row of Kellogg breakfast, half a row of ox hearts, half a row of Cherokee purples, and half a row of mortgage lifters. Now you say, well, how come? And if you want to know, that's about 60 to 65 plants per row down this 100-foot row. Okay? 60 to 65 plants. So anywhere between 18 inches and 2 feet is what I put them apart. The only problem with planting that many indeterminate tomatoes is you have to have indeterminate tomato cages. I have 5-foot tall cages. Those tomatoes will grow out the top of the cage and down the side and all the way to the ground. They'll grow about 11 feet long by the time the year is done. In the first part of the year, I'll harvest tomatoes up next to the body. After they come over, the late part of the year, I'll harvest the tomatoes as they come down the other side. That's the way that works. Now, what am I going to do with these? Well, we don't have rain in the forecast for the next 5 days. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and water these. Each one of them will get a pint of water. Okay? Each one will get a pint of water. I got to go and fill up my buckets and get my sprayer out, but each one of them will get a pint of water in the morning and then at night after the sun goes down. They get it before the sun comes up, and then they get it before the sun comes down, and I'll do that until we get our first rain. Then I won't water them anymore. Watering will be done. Now the third day, I will put some Miracle Grow in. Now, like I told you before, some of these will die and they'll be dead by the third day, and I'll go out there in the bed and get the tomatoes to replace them. Okay, that's what I'll do, is I'll just go out in the bed and get the tomatoes to replace them, because there's plenty of them and they're free. Free. Now, if you like this stuff, this homesteading, do-it-yourself kind of thing, be certain to come on out to the channel and subscribe. We do this homesteading stuff every week, sometimes 1, sometimes 5 videos. Just depends on what's going on in the homestead that week. Now, if you hit the little bell, it'll be right up here. When you come to the channel, it'll notify you when we upload a video. We upload on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Now, with that being said, it's time for me to get on to the next thing and get the water on these plants.